Hi guys, in today's video I am sharing my top tips and my most important things to do when you find out that you're pregnant if you are a working mom. Hi guys, if we have not met before, my name is Yana, and just to give you a little bit of the overview what is happening in my life and what has happened is that I do have two boys right now, and when I got pregnant with them I worked at the corporate office, so I had to figure out that part of my life, what is happening, what I need to do with my work then. Currently I'm pregnant with my third child and I am a work-at-home mom, stay-at-home mom, entrepreneur, if you can call it that way, business owner. I'm a wedding photographer. So this is what I need to be planning on right now. So no matter what kind of work you're doing, I thought I would tell you my top tips about what to think about and what to take care of in your beginning of your pregnancy. So the thing number one, obviously look at your due date. See what is going on, what kind of season, what time it is, what time of month it is, what time of year it is, and look at your work calendar. If you are working at the corporate office, evaluate, see what's going on. At this moment of time, you probably should not be telling your boss about your pregnancy. In most of the cases, it is recommended to wait until 12 weeks before you announce anything publicly. Especially in the workplace, I feel like it is way more better to announce it when you definitely know that you are staying pregnant, that you did not miscarry, that everything is fine with you and your baby. Because depending on your work environment, your boss, and everything else, when people in professional environments find out that you are in the baby making mode, there might be some harm happening to your career. Depending on how serious you are about building your career and like progressing in your career growth, it might be very wise to keep your baby making plans up until you know that you are definitely pregnant and the pregnancy is sticking around. Even though it is very exciting to announce, and in some cases you feel like you do need to tell people because of how sick you feel and how much, like if you're nauseous or any of those things, sometimes you feel like you need to tell people. But if you can stick around until 12 weeks and not to announce it, that would be best for your career. And that applies to actually in all of the cases, no matter how friendly or not friendly your environment is. The life-changing announcements change the way people are, and good or bad, that's the way it is. So I feel like I would rather stay on the safe side and keep it a secret until 12 weeks and just announce at 12 weeks. But generally, looking at your calendar and noticing what is going on, and if there is any kind of control on your end to affect any kind of scheduling, any kind of large releases that will be happening in your company, if you can have any kind of say about scheduling those things, obviously say, oh, maybe we won't be able to make it, and obviously you will have to come up with some kind of reasoning. Or you can just say that this is your personal preference of some sort. Then just obviously take steps if possible to prevent large events being scheduled at the time of your delivery or maternity leave. On the other hand, if you are a entrepreneur, if you're a boss mom, and if you are doing things from your home and you have clients that you are responsible to delivering certain things or performing certain tasks on your delivery date or around that time, make sure that you start communicating. In this case, actually, I feel like it is different than it's a corporate office. I feel like the moment you find out that you're pregnant, you should talk to your clients and announce that to them, obviously in a very pleasant manner. Be like, I have a very exciting thing that is happening in my life, but I'm very sad to tell you that it is going to affect the way our relationship is going to go, because I'm either unable to perform the services. Like in my case, if I would have an unplanned pregnancy, and if for some reason there would be a wedding that I would have to photograph at the time of that is close to the delivery date, I would have to contact my clients and tell them, I'm sorry, I will not be able to perform my services, and these are the options that we have to go through to resolve this situation that came up right now. However, in my case, I knew that I wanted to have another child, and we planned very carefully on when we are getting pregnant, and thankfully everything is working out the way it should be. Hopefully I deliver right after one of my last weddings, and hopefully I have a few weeks of maternity leave before my next wedding. So depending on how your pregnancy is going, you will either have to talk to your clients about these exciting news, and or like plan for your boss to hopefully be okay with you not being at the company at that moment of time. Then the next thing, again, if you are working at the office, then at 12 weeks you will have to announce it to your boss, and obviously be very positive, be as positive as you can, so that it's not a very shocking news, because for most bosses it is an unpleasant news, because you will be missing from your job for 3 months in most of the cases. I'm in United States, in New Jersey, so with us we have 6 weeks paid state by the state with maternity, paternity leave, paternal leave. And then also most of the companies give you another 6 weeks of disability leave. It all depends on which state you are, what country you're in, but in most of the cases you will be missing from your job, and your boss is probably not very excited about that. If they like you, they will be excited for you personally, but for the like tasks performance and getting things done, this is a problem for them. So this is not very exciting. So just be as positive and as pleasant as possible with the news. Tell them, oh, I have this exciting thing happening, and please let me know what I can do to prepare the company and our department for this transition, so that there are certain things that will have to get done while I'm away on the maternity leave. The next thing to remember to do is, once you announce that to your boss that you're pregnant and you will be leaving for the maternity leave, go to your human resources department and talk to them again, bring them the news, and ask them all of the questions that you have, and all of the questions that they just ask them. What do people normally do when they get pregnant? What do they need to know? Ask about maternity leave before you deliver or after you deliver. Ask about the policy in the company, whatever they have. Ask about them, any information that can provide you about the state that you live in, about the disability or bonding with the child, if you're getting paid, if you're not getting paid, what are the processes of the application, should you be reaching out to anyone else right now, should you be talking about extra things to your doctor, to your health insurance company, or to any other companies. Your human resources department is there to protect the company against you and your malicious deeds, but at the same time they're there to support you and to protect you from your company. So they are your best ally in the company to help you navigate this process. So make sure that you are in a good relationship with your human resource department, and like the manager or whoever, try to be as nice as possible to them, because they are the one who are rooting for you and taking care for you, and possibly will be submitting a lot of paperwork for you once you have delivered and you are on maternity leave. So make sure to be like friends with them as much as possible. Obviously with human relationships, it's like sometimes it's impossible, but if you can, be good friends with them and ask them about anything you need to know, anything that they have to take care of, and any resources that they can give you to read and research and learn about. The next thing on the list is start thinking about childcare. If you are planning on returning to your office or if you are planning on keep doing client work, it will be obviously that you will need help with childcare. In my case, I'm very thankful with my position and my situation in life that currently I do not need any childcare services, which that was the reason why I was like really trying to build up my business so that I can do all of the work from home and I can take care of my babies and see what's going on. However, if this is not an option for you, if you will be going back to the office and if this is the plan with you and your partner and this is the plan for your family, start looking for childcare services. If you have family close by, the best thing you can do, obviously if you trust your family, the best thing would be for your family to take care of your child, because they always have the best interest in your child. So reach out once you announce it to the grandparents, to the aunts and uncles. Reach out to them and ask them what their schedules are. Would they be willing to either gift you babysitting services, or if they would be willing for you to hire them so that you pay them for babysitting services. Reach out to them, see what their situation is, what their schedule is, and figure that out. After you know if any of the family will be able to babysit for you, start looking for child cares like official offices or in-home daycares. Do your research, talk to your co-workers, see if they have any good recommendations, because if you work at the office, you probably will want to have your baby as close to your office as possible, unless you have grandparents who will be able to pick up your baby from the daycare in case they're sick, in case there's something happening at the daycare, in case the care provider is getting sick. Like if it's an in-home daycare, if the person is going to get sick, they're going to ask you to pick up your child, obviously, or if there is something happening in their personal life, you will have to come and pick up your baby. So my best recommendation is to keep your baby the closest to you, the better. In my case, my son was 15 minutes away from our office, and if you can have them closer, it's even better, because yes, in case of the emergency or sickness or anything like this, you can just go pick them up, and depending on your work situation, you could either bring them back to your office or go back home and keep working from home or whatever, or take the rest of your day off. It will all depend, but I feel like the safest and the best for your emotional state is that to keep them the closest to you. When I had my son 15 minutes away, I had an hour lunch break. I would drive to him, and for the first 8 months of his life, I would see him every lunch. I would breastfeed him during lunch. I would see him when he stopped breastfeeding. I would just go and see him and hang out with him. And it was so pleasant and so emotionally satisfying for me to be able to see him. Not every daycare might encourage that, but in my case, I was able to do this. However, if this is a good daycare, they probably would encourage that, because most women and most human beings understand that breastfeeding, if you're planning on breastfeeding, is very important for the health of the child, and it's very it's just good for everyone. So yes, and even if you're not breastfeeding, it still is a very wonderful experience for the baby to be able to bond with the mom a little bit more and calm down a little bit more. So yes, I feel like that's very helpful. So yes, that is my next piece of advice, is that try to figure out your babysitting situation and try to keep the baby as close to you as possible. One more important thing to remember is, if during your pregnancy your health insurance plans will be switching from one provider to another, because every year companies evaluate who they're doing business with. So make sure to evaluate your health insurance plan so that you are making appropriate changes, because some plans don't cover a delivery as well as others, like bigger medical expenses. So look at the plans, because sometimes it is better to pay a little bit more throughout the year, every month, and then you get covered way more for your delivery. Like if you're delivering at the hospital or whatever your delivery situation will be, you might be way better off with switching your plans and like upgrading your plans a little bit, but then getting way more in return once you actually deliver. The next thing to remember is if you are planning on breastfeeding, talk to your human resource department. Again, if your company is big enough, I'm pretty sure if it's 50 or more people in United States, the company is required to have a room where you're able to pump. So talk to your human resource department and ask, is there such space? I've read online that we probably should have. If your company's on the smaller side, be like, oh, where could I pump? Where could be the room? And in most of the cases, human resources department will take care of it. And before you deliver, they should take care of it. Like if you were the first person to get pregnant, it was interesting to me because when I worked for my company, it was a big company. I think there was like 600 or 700 or 800 people when I was pregnant at a time. And apparently we did not have pregnant people before me because we did not have a room to pump. So I brought it up to our human resource department and they built a room. Not human resource, maintenance department built a room for pumping. It was called wellness room. And yes, since then, we actually did have a lot of pregnant and then nursing moms afterwards. So that was very helpful. But yes, if your company in the United States, if your company is 50 people or more, the company is required to have a pumping and nursing room. So I hope those tips were helpful to you working mama. If you have any other questions or concerns about anything like this, maybe I have forgotten something. If you have anything particular you want to ask, please leave me a comment below or message me on social media and I would love to answer that for you. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye. I hope you have a wonderful day.